But also, I mean, I remember I was not happy in my job.
Yeah.
I was not happy. I mean, I was happy with you, but I wasn't particularly happy with my life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's weird to say that, like, looking back, because at the time I didn't realise I wasn't happy. It also made us realise how precious life is.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I mean, yeah.
we had a baby, and then I'm not going to cry, but it was taken away from us. And it kind of makes you realise, okay, I'm going to cry. And it kind of makes you realise how precious life is and how, like, the fact that we're even alive is insane.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just spend their life waiting to, you know, that 2 weeks a year where you can travel and you can have time off. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rosie and this is my husband Jeremy.
Hello.
Today we are recording a podcast episode for our podcast Just Interesting People, and I thought I'd record it on video as well for my YouTube channel because it's quite an interesting subject we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be talking about why we're not living a normal life in terms of why we're travelling, why we're not having a house and kids and all that stuff. And I hope you enjoy the episode. Hello everyone and welcome back to Just Interesting People podcast. My name is Rosie and I'm here with my co-host and husband Jeremy, and today we're doing a very special episode, just us two. I'm going to let Jeremy tell you all about it, but we really hope you enjoy this episode.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in once again. I thought about recording this episode a couple of weeks ago, just to share why we are deciding to maybe live a life that doesn't fit into the standard, like into the norm of like what should be a normal life for a couple in the young 30s. Rosie doesn't know exactly what I want to talk about, but we're gonna bounce back. It's gonna be an interesting conversation, because I think it's a topic that I'm really interested about. I feel basically that so many people live their lives as a passenger. They're not fully in control of their lives, and that's just an illusion, I think. That's just a story, but that's how I think a lot of people feel. And when they get old, they realize that maybe they should have done more. They have some regrets, and I don't want to live like that. I want to be in charge of my life. I want to do things that makes me happy. I want to avoid having regrets, you know, when I will be 50, 60, 70 and I won't be able to do that much. I don't want to be one of those persons saying, I wish I would have done that when I was younger, or things like that. I want to have a happy, fulfilled life and on my own terms, in a sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree, but I also think that a lot of what we think is the normal life is due to our culture and our upbringing.
100%.
So, like, especially in Europe, I don't really know particularly about the rest of the world, but especially for us, it's kind of like, okay, you grow up, you go to university, you get a degree, you work a job, you get married, you have kids, and then you retire at 60, 65,
Yeah.
and then you can travel and enjoy life. And I think that's very much the narrative that we're told as kids and growing up, you know, from a young age, what do you want to do when you're older? And you're kind of told that this is the only way to live. There's never an alternative of like, oh, you could go to university, you could get a career, or you could travel, or you could live in a hut on your own and live off grid, or like there's just never given these options. It's just like, what do you want to be when you're older? What job do you want to do? Where do you want to live? How many kids do you want? What do you want your kids' names to be? What do you want your husband or wife to be like? And it's like you're never given an alternative. And I think that's very much our culture. So we're talking from us. So I wonder what it's like for different parts of the world. But I think no matter where you grow up, you are told by society what your life should look like. And it's probably different throughout the world, but you're still kind of fed this narrative of whatever it is in that country, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't actually think about that because, I was going to talk about it from obviously my perspective of a French, European, white guy. But I think even if the narrative is different based on the culture and the country, the normal life is going to be different on different countries. I think globally we still have this narrative that's being pushed to young people.
Yeah.
And we don't talk enough about the alternatives, the other ways to live a happy life. So when I was younger, I was raised pretty normally, I would say. I know that doesn't mean anything.
Everyone says that,
Yeah.
Jeremy.
But no, but I was fed this narrative in terms of go to school, be good at school. Like especially my dad told me that quite a lot because he was working as like a carpenter, so quite physical work, and he was an immigrant as well, so he didn't have much when he was younger. And basically, yeah, I was told, I remember that when I was, I don't know, maybe 10 years old, 12 years old, like, do well at school. Because if you do well, you're going to be an engineer. That was like the thing in the 90s. You're going to be, working in an office on a computer, and you're not going to get physically tired like I do. Because he was coming back from work every day at 5 p.m. and he was exhausted physically, and he didn't want to do much, after work and stuff like that. And that was really the work hard at school, have good grades, get a good degree, so you can work an easy, good, well-paid job in an office as an engineer. That was the thing to achieve. That was the vision he had for me. As if you do that, then you'll be on a right path.
Successful.
Yeah. And obviously, well, that's what I believed because, it was my daddy. So I was like, okay, he's right, So, so I did okay at school and I went for an engineer stuff and I enjoyed it. So that was okay. Like, luckily, I really enjoyed my education, stuff like that. I did something that was fun and everything. So I don't regret at all going to college and stuff like that. That's absolutely fine with me.
Well, you did robotics, so that's pretty fun.
No, yeah, I think I've learned a ton of really valuable skills that I think I'm still using now. Not the maybe technical one, but like the way of thinking and stuff like that. So I'm happy about the education they gave me. So when we met, you had a kind of first like different educations in the sense that you were told do what you want, do what makes you happy, take a gap year if you want to, stuff like that.
Yeah, like my parents, it was very much like do what makes you happy. If you do something you enjoy, you'll never work a day in your life is basically what I was told. And you can make a career from anything, you can do what you want, the world's your oyster, all this kind of live like dream big kind of stuff. And I remember even when we got together, Jeremy was in Lincoln and I was in Manchester. It's about a 2.5 hour drive. Jeremy didn't have a car, also didn't want to drive in England.
Wrong side of the road.
Wrong side of the road. But I remember I would just drive to Lincoln and spend as much time as I could with him and then drive back for like a meeting at university just to show I was still going to university, even though I wasn't doing any of my work. I just wanted to be with Jeremy the whole time. I remember Mum saying, well, just leave university, just like it's your final year, you don't really need it anyway, just just quit the university and go and be with Jeremy. And then I remember you were like, no, Rosie, you've got to finish your degree. And like that kind of shows you how my parents were. It was like my mum was very much follow your heart, do what you love, do what makes you happy. And then you were very much like finish your degree, at least you've got something to fall back on.
Yeah.
And I think that shows very clearly our differences. And like I'm glad I finished my degree because then I went on to say, okay, I've got a degree rather than I'm a dropout. Not that it matters. Actually, one job, I think you had to have a degree. One of the babysitting jobs I applied for once, whatever. But I mean, I've not done that degree as a career, but it just shows that like my parents were very much do what makes you happy, happiness over everything. We don't expect you to do anything or have a big crazy career. Like it was never...
Well, and also like you and your two brothers, for example, took a gap year during your studies to travel. Yeah. Which is something like... I mean, that would have never crossed my parents' mind first because they don't travel anyway. But also, it's not a very French thing to do. It's not something normal.
It's very English. It's a very English thing to do. Like everyone kind of, well, not everyone. I mean, those who are lucky enough from the age of 18 to 19 take a gap year between college and university. I wanted to do that, but I had no one to go travelling with. At 18, I didn't want to go on my own, so I ended up doing a gap year between second and third year, which is when I met Jeremy. So I kind of felt like I was making up for what I'd lost out on when I was 18 that I hadn't done. So yeah, very different upbringings. So then when we met, I was like, we had 1 year of university left. So both graduated, both got our degrees, and you were very much like, okay, well now we need to get a job, settle down, buy a car, start paying the retirement, like very, very sensible. And I was like, let's just go off traveling for a year. And you were like, no, Rose, I need to work. Like I've just done all the university work, and it was so. different.
Well, I mean, first that was also the narrative I was told, so I thought that was the right thing to do. You graduate and then you get a job. If you wait too long, new people are going to be coming in the market, so you might miss the boat and the right opportunities and stuff like that. Well, and also I know how much my parents sacrificed to give me this education, and it was also like a payback, like I want to do it also to make them happy and proud and things, like not to. So that was also something in my head. But I mean, main thing is just because that was a normal thing to do, clearly. That was.
I remember
what I
you
was
being
supposed
like, we
to do.
can't just go travelling. I was like,
No,
of course we can. You're like,
nonsense.
we don't have any money. What would we do? And I was like, oh, we'd figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. And you were just like, what?
That doesn't make any sense.
God, if anybody had listened to me 10 years ago,
Yeah,
how different our lives would be. Anyway.
Yeah. With if we could do all things.
I know. We're doing it now. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So, I was basically being fed this narrative, and I know I was on the path of checking the boxes, like we often say. So we got the job, we moved in together, got another job, moved somewhere, whatever. After a few years, we decided to buy a place because we've been renting for, at this point, about 4 years. So we thought we might as well put the money into something that we own. 1 year later, we got married. So that was 2 boxes checked. Like you had a job, not that you enjoyed it or anything like that, but it was to pay the mortgage and because we needed the money. And in 2016, after our honeymoon, we thought about having kids and we started trying and just listen to the other episode about that. We still don't have kids. But we were on the path of having a really normal life in our between 25 and 30 years old. That's where we started to check the boxes about, the house, the car, the wedding and kids on the way and stuff like that.
But what's interesting as well is that we were doing the same as all of our friends.
Yeah.
Like everyone around us was in a couple, engaged or getting married. Like I think, 2 of my close friends in France got married like a couple of weeks between me, and then somebody else got married the year after. It was very much like,
Your brother got married.
And then they started having kids. Both my brothers got married the same year as us. Everyone started having kids. Everyone was, buying apartments and houses and starting investing and getting, 2 cars rather than 1 car. And it was just kind of like the normal thing, buying a plot of land, building your own house. Those were friends who were a little bit older than us. But it was just like no one was doing anything different.
Yeah.
So, had we done anything different, it would have been like the freaks who were not doing normal life stuff. Yeah,
and also, I mean, the environment you're in and your close circle really influences your choices, I think.
100%.
Right, and so when you see people doing that, is what you think about is, oh, I want a house as well, as an apartment, or I want X amount of kids because, they're doing it and stuff like that. So you're getting even deeper into this same narrative.
And even without thinking about it consciously, you're not like, they have 3 kids, therefore I want 3 kids. It's just like, oh, it's nice that they've got 3 kids. And, that could be fun. That could be something that we do. And you never really stop to think, is this actually what I want to, like, we bought an apartment because we had jobs and we had our friends there and our lives there, but it was never like, No,
I bought an apartment because everyone was telling me renting is throwing money by the window. Like, because I've heard that for years and years and years.
But also, I remember I was not happy in my job.
Yeah.
I was not happy. I was happy with you, but I wasn't particularly happy with my life, if that makes sense. Yeah. And it's weird to say that, like, looking back, because at the time I didn't realise I wasn't happy. Now, looking back, I'm like, holy shit, I was so unhappy. And you don't ever stop to think, like, will buying this house actually make me happy? Is that actually what I want to do, me personally? Or is it just what is expected of me from my family and friends and society? And will I be seen as not good enough if I'm just renting forever? Or if I don't do these? Like, it's not even like a conscious decision or thinking. It's just something that happens in your brain without realising.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're married with 3 kids in a house in a job you hate that you're stuck in because you got a mortgage. And
because then also the more you pile up things in a very broad way, the more stuck you feel because now you have responsibilities, now you have a mortgage to pay and you have kids to feed and stuff like that, and they're going to school. So it's getting harder and harder to get out of this narrative the more things you amass and the more attached you get to the place you're in. So in 2017, well, the first thing actually before that actually got me thinking a little bit different was getting my job with eWorks.
Yeah.
That's the first time where I saw working could also be fun. It was not just a way of making money. It was also actually, it could be a very fun thing to go to the office and hang out with your mate and do something, build something together and have fun along the way.
I mean, you did a lot of work, but you also had a lot of play. Like, you would play football in the
Yeah.
office, you'd have beers, you'd, like, go to the bar, you'd play petanque, you'd do all these fun things. And, like, yes, you worked, but there's also a really good
Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
environment.
Yeah. And I met amazing people there. So,
Yeah.
So that was the first glimpse in, okay, actually, work can be fun. There's another way to work. It's not just a way to make money and to be, a sheep at the office or stuff like that.
Having to wear a suit, having to look a certain way. Like,
you can be happy at your job. That was really, like, really, really interesting to visualize that. And also to see that, when I started the Julien were in the, like, 35,
he says the Julian, there was two of them.
Yeah, they were about 35 years old. So that was also like, oh, you can do something when you're young and build a company and stuff like that. That was my first glimpse into entrepreneurship and see what's possible and see, like, the startup world. So that was, like, I would say, like a box open in my head for the first time about that. But really the big change came in 2017 when we had the abortion. That came also at the same time where we had the opportunity to, through this job, to go to Miami.
Yeah.
That was kind of same timing. And yeah, I mean, the abortion, obviously, not without going into detail on it, but the effect it had on me was, oh shit, like, stuff can happen in life.
Yeah.
Like, really unexpected things can happen. And, like, you're on your road, you're checking those boxes, you're doing everything right, you're doing your best as well, you're not screwing up, like, you're really trying to make the right choices and everything. And out of nowhere, you're getting this massive crash that is nothing to do with you. It's not because you screwed up, because you did something wrong, because you took a bad decision at some point. It's just absolutely random. You have a meteorite crashing into your car, when you're on the way, and oh shit. And that was really, like, a massive moment in terms of death. Also, I felt like, oh, death can happen anytime. You don't know. And things can happen anytime, and you can do the best that you can. Maybe life is not going to go as planned, as expected.
It also made us realise how precious life is.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I mean, yeah.
we had a baby, and then I'm not going to cry, but it was taken away from us. And it kind of makes you realise, okay, I'm going to cry. And it kind of makes you realise how precious life is and how, like, the fact that we're even alive is insane.
Yeah.
The fact that we met each other is insane. The fact that we're, like, happily married and, like, the world literally is your oyster. You can do absolutely anything. And I think when you realise, like, how precious life is and how easily it can change and how easily your life can get completely flipped upside down and you can lose the one thing you never wanted to lose in life, it makes you realise how precious life is and how much you just need to do what makes you happy and, like, not take it for granted.
Yeah.
That was, like, a big lesson for both of us.
Yeah. So that was really a massive wake-up call. And thankfully, at the end of this really dark time and place, Miami came to us. And at the end of
We ran towards
2017,
it as well.
we kind of yeah.
We ran towards it.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, because we could have just stayed there and complain and live a miserable life.
We could have not gone to Miami and be like, no, we need to stay here and
Yeah.
grieve and
Yeah.
try again and go to
Stay
the
with
doctors
family or
and do all
whatever.
these things and yeah.
Yeah, so we decided to accelerate the move to Miami. And boy, like, I don't think we had any idea how impactful that would be, honestly.
Literally, we've said it before, but I thought we'd go for a year, we'd have a bit of fun, figure out what Miami is about and then come back home, try and have kids again, go to the doctors, get this thing sorted out, buy a bigger apartment. Like, we still had our apartment, so it was like, okay, we'll sell that, we'll get a bigger place, and then we'll do this whole...
Yeah, we were still planning to live a normal life, just with a little break in the middle, because we needed some fresh air, in a sense.
Yeah, and also it was just an opportunity. I mean, like, had we been pregnant or not, and had the baby died or not, we'd have gone to Miami either way, I think. And it was just like a fun experiment, and a fun thing to do for a year or two.
Yeah.
But it was never meant to be 3.5 years. It was like, we'll go for a year and we'll see. I probably won't like it anyway. Whatever. It'll just be an adventure.
And the 3.5 years in Miami completely shattered everything that I knew about life, that I thought I knew about life. Thanks to many things, the environment, the people that we met, I mean, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
But first, I would say, like, before going into the people, it's just the culture. Like, going there, I realized that, and again, I'm totally aware I was living in a bubble. That wasn't real life. It's not a good representation of the United States of anything. I know it was a bubble, but I was at the right bubble at the right time.
But also where we lived. So we lived in Surfside in Miami. So that's a bubble within a bubble, within Florida, which is another bubble, within the States, which is a whole different kettle of fish. So it was...
But going to the States for a start made me realize how the culture over there is different than in France, England, Europe.
Yeah.
I kind of understood why we call Europe the old continent, because the way of thinking, and again, it's like a generality, I know it's not everyone, but that's the way the trend is going. I've never felt in France very encouraged and pushed to take risks, to do anything differently, to follow my dreams or my passions. It was more like, do the rational thing that you should be doing to fit in and to be one of us, in a sense. I've never felt very supported or even encouraged by anyone to really go towards something different, or to question things as well, and even to question anything in life. It's more like, this is life, this is the way it is. If you try to change things, we're gonna go on strike,
Yeah,
and
that's very
stuff
French.
like that. And going to Miami and seeing people doing things differently, trying things, doing random, unexpected, unusual things, and not being, destroyed by everyone, mainly being even encouraged, and, everything is awesome, like in the Lego movie. Like, that was really eye-opening for me. That was so, whoa, this is another way, and I can actually be supported for being different.
I think the culture around success is really different as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like in England and France, I don't know about the rest of Europe, but definitely these two countries, if you, like, I don't know, I feel like it's probably changing now, but like, if you're somebody who earns a lot of money and you have a flash car and you have a big house and you're doing well and you do all these things and go on holidays and things, it's like, oh, look at this dickhead, he's going on holiday, look at this dickhead, he's got a nice car, and oh my God, what a prat, and all, like, it's always negative, like, oh my God, this guy's such an arsehole because he's done really well for himself. It's never like, wow, that's so cool, he's got a car, like, this amazing Lamborghini at 21. It's like, oh my God, I bet his parents are rich. I bet, like, it's never seen as a good thing. Whereas I think the culture in America is very much like, I want to be a millionaire, I want to do this, I want to get, like, big things. And it's not even about big things, and like, it's not even about the money thing, but I think the level of the idea of success is very different, and success in all different types of ways. It's not always about the money as well. It can be like, successful in terms of having a healthy lifestyle or things like that. And it's just seen differently, isn't it? And I think that was a big thing as well, is that, like, in England, you can't be like, oh, well, I'm very good at doing this. It'd be like, okay, big Ed, you'd have to talk, why are you being so cocky about it? Whereas in America, you can be confident about, oh, I'm very good at doing this, and I want to make this amount of money, and I want to do that. Like, and it's just way more accepted and appreciated and celebrated. Whereas in England and France, success is like a bad thing. So it kind of keeps you at a certain level of like, you don't want to go outside of that because then you're that bad person who's doing successful things. So it's also that like being kept in your lane, kept in your box, and
be one of them.
Be the normal person who's doing the normal things, and don't do anything too out there or crazy or good, because it's just not seen the same way. I think that was a big one.
Yeah, clearly, that's massive. I feel people get inspired by success in the US when in Europe we get jealous about it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing about the American dream.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's interesting because I think a lot of people love the idea of the American dream. You know, like, oh, you can go to this place and try anything that you want, and maybe you're gonna be successful. But then when they see people doing that next door, they're like, look at this fucking brat, like showing off, like you said, being an arrogant thing. So yeah, the way of thinking about that was like so nice, to be surrounded by positivity and encouragement rather than negativity, and you know, as soon as someone wants to change anything is being shut on, and again people go on strike in France and shit like that. When change is good, change makes you grow. That's something that was amazing to see. And then the next step was...
1 second, another thing as well was the entrepreneurship. Like, most of our friends had their own businesses.
Yeah, I was going to come to that, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And it's not because we purposely went to entrepreneur meetings and only made friends with entrepreneurs and, like, made a real effort to only speak to those people. It was just the people that we met and the people around us. Pretty much, I'm trying to think of anyone who worked a normal 9-to-5 job. I can't think of anyone.
Yeah, not many. Everybody
had their own thing. And even if they did do that, they would have their own side hustle that they were trying to work on until that paid enough to quit their 9-to-5 or, you know, whatever, bartending job or whatever. So I think that was the other thing, was like seeing female entrepreneurs was huge for me because in France I said I wanted to be a photographer and everyone was like, well, yeah, okay, but you can't really make any money from that, you know, you're not really good. Not that people said that, but it was always kind of implied, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, it's just people are going to find a million reasons to tell you should not do this.
Yeah, but even if they didn't actually say it, it was always implied as like, well, yeah, okay, but why? Or
yeah, get a job, come on.
Yeah, stop being lazy, stop being a dreamer, whatever. Yeah. Whereas in Miami, like having strong women who had their own businesses in lots of different things as well. Like it wasn't just, I'm not even going to give examples, it doesn't matter what it was, but like lots of different areas, women had their own careers and their own jobs and their own businesses. And also men who were making a lot of money as well. Like we had friends who, like I said, who want to be a millionaire by the age of 30. And I was just like, no one's ever said that to me before. And that sticks with me because it was such a big moment. I was like, a mouth open, like, what? You just said, like, especially, we don't talk about money in Europe.
Oh, yeah.
You would never talk about, I want to make $1 million. You never talk about how much money you earn, how much money you've made, how much money you're selling your services for. You just don't talk about money. Whereas in America, it's very much like, yo, I just made 200 grand this year. Wow, fucking shit, that's amazing. Woohoo, let's celebrate. Whereas in England, like, you would never tell someone how much money you made. You would never go out and celebrate it. You would hide it and be like, oh my God, I can't buy a new car because people then know that I've made money and I don't want them to know. Like, it was just such a completely different environment for the whole, like, money, business, entrepreneurship, helping each other, encouraging each other, trying out new things. It was just all completely different to what we're used to.
Yeah. It's what I was going to say is, first, the whole environment was different. And then the circle that we created around us was the final push that we needed, I think, to really change our mind. Is, you know, you can see a trend globally, but then you actually meet the people that are very similar to you in terms of age, in terms of background. You know, they don't come from a rich family or anything. They're just pretty ordinary people like we were, with a really similar background. And I feel it's just like maybe they had this environment early on in their life, so they weren't scared of trying things and going for whatever they wanted for. So seeing people like us, our age, very similar to us, trying things, being extremely supportive, and some of them being successful, some less, whatever, it doesn't matter, but doing things that we were maybe thinking about doing, but actually seeing them, you know, it's not just this guy you listen a podcast about but you've never met. It's not this YouTuber you only see on a screen but you've never met. It's not this photographer with 30,000 followers on Instagram that you've never met him. Like people that really you hang out with, they're those people. So it's like, if they can do it, I can probably do it, Like you realize they're not that different compared to you. It's just they have the balls to try it, and
the support as well, and the encouragement.
Yeah, and there's a system around encouraging them to try the things and to go for it. And again, it might not work, but they're trying it at least, which is the first step that a lot of people never dare doing. And I mean, this is the reason this podcast exists, is because I've seen a couple of our friends having a podcast. Like, I mean, if they can do it, I can do it as well. It must not be that hard. They're just normal like me, so I can try it. So I made my research and I realized it was pretty easy. And here we are, 92 episodes later, we're still here.
Same with my YouTube. I mean, if you've been on my channel, tried YouTube. I mean, I've wanted to do it for about 10 years. Actually started about, I think it's before the abortion, or I think it was like 2016, uploaded a video.
Even before that, 2014, no? Yeah.
I can't remember. It was a while ago. I uploaded a video. It got 400 views overnight. I freaked out, deleted it, didn't tell Jeremy, didn't tell anyone, and just pretended it didn't happen. And then after that, when we moved to Miami, I was like, okay, I'm going to start vlogging and doing this thing. I don't know anyone. I don't care if anyone sees me videoing. It doesn't bother me. I'm just going to be brave and do it. Uploaded videos, and we went home that summer, and one of our friends basically laughed at me in this group of people saying, oh my god, your videos are so shit and no one's watching them and they're so boring, why are you bothering, basically, in front of about 15 of my friends. And I just about died. And then I stopped for about another year and a half maybe.
Yeah.
And it was only then when we started spending more and more time, because I think the first year in Miami we were tourists, didn't really make friends, didn't really know people, didn't really make the effort, we didn't really know how long we were staying. Ended up staying longer, so we ended up making more friends, and obviously it takes about a year, well, it took us about a year to actually build real friendships, I would say, rather than just acquaintances, the people that you see around. So it was only after spending time with these people who were like, hey, I want to do TikTok, and I have this many people on YouTube, and I want to do this, that, and like all these different things that people wanted to do. And I was like, well, this is something I've wanted to do for years. And then because I got laughed at once, I stopped. But why should it matter if this one person laughed at me? I should carry on. So then I restarted again, basically end of January 2020, and it's been now almost 2 years. But again, like, had we not made friends with these people in Miami or anywhere, it doesn't really matter where the location was, meeting people who encourage you and support you and want you to do what you want to do, whether it works or not, is crucial, because had that not happened, I'd have been laughed at by this guy in France and then never done it again, even though it's something I've always wanted to do. So it's like the people that you surround yourself with is crucial. It's so important. I've never really realised that before. Before Miami, it was just kind of like, oh, well, it's people who live nearby, or it's people from work, or it's people who, yeah, I get on with and, we're friendly with, but we don't particularly have the same mindset, vision for life, ideas, ambition. I don't know what it is. It's maybe a combination of everything.
Yeah, a lot of time we are friends with people by default.
Yeah.
Because we meet them in school. And, usually you keep a couple from school. And then it's work related. It's people that you work at the office or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or because you're going to go to like join, a gym or club or stuff like that. And that's how you meet your people. And yeah, like, when you think about it, it's not because you've studied the same thing or because you work at the same company that you have the same, vision about life or the same things at all. It doesn't mean anything. But it's just the easy way to meet people and to make friends. So usually we stick with it because as humans, we don't want to be alone. We like to have people around, so we don't really question it. But yeah, surround yourself with positivity.
I think the thing is as well that, like, in France, we were friends with people, like you said, the same age, the same background, all kind of the same, just doing the same things. Whereas in Miami, we celebrated 25th birthday with Abraham, who's now 26. But we had dinner with someone who was 18, 19. But then equally, we'd go out for dinner with people who are 50 and hang out with, all different people from all different backgrounds, all different religions, races, sexualities, like everything. in England, in France, it was very much like white straight couples in like the 25, however old we were at the time.
Yeah, plus minus 1 year compared to us.
Whereas in Miami, it was like, okay, we're friends with a 25-year-old gay guy and a 50-year-old straight woman, and just all different like backgrounds, races, sexualities, just jobs, every like careers, passions, and I think that's where you start to find interesting friends and great friends, is because they're all so different from different places and different stories and different lessons and different like you just learn so much from other people, especially when they're different from you, and I think that's the main thing as well.
Yeah, and it made me question things, and also it's because also like we moved to Miami when we were in a dark place. Like I started meditating at this time, I went to yoga, and so at the same time of meeting these new people, being in this very supportive environment, I was also encouraged by the meditation and the yoga and stuff like that to question things in life, to ask myself some questions about happiness, about being grateful for things and stuff like that. So
you also had to deal with stress as well.
Yeah, how to deal with stress, anxiety, how to deal with
arguments and
judgments, opinions, how people see you. So everything came at the same time. I was starting to open up and question things more, and also seeing those people doing other things was I had even more questions. Like, if they're doing it, why can't I do it? There is another way. Those people are happy doing something different. Wait, what? That doesn't fit into the narrative I've been told. This guy dropped out of college and now he's making way more money than my entire family. That doesn't fit the script that I've been told, and so yeah, that was really like a lot of things at the same time, a lot of thoughts to process, to be honest. But boy, how amazing it was. I'm so glad that we got this wake-up call, because, and again, I don't even know what we're going to be doing. We talked about that yesterday. Like, we are planning to travel for 1 year. Maybe we're going to be sick of traveling. Maybe we're going to want to settle down at some point. That's not the point, but it's more about now we are questioning it. Now we are doing it because we want to. It's a choice that we are making in full awareness.
And even in terms of like where we want to live, so like, we'll maybe talk about this, I don't know your plan for the conversation, but like at some point I would like to have a house or a base where I can keep my things and have somewhere to go. And because at the moment, if we come back to Europe, we're staying with our families, which we've done for 6 months this summer.
And it's a pain.
It's fine for a while, but 6 months is a long time to spend with your parents or your in-laws, either way for each of us. So I'd like to have a home base somewhere, and I feel like beforehand it was like, okay, so we're going to live in Paris because that's where Rosie can learn English and Jeremy can get a job easily. And then Jeremy's got a job in X, so now we're going to live in X. And then he got a job in Marseille, so we're actually going to buy an apartment in Trex because that's close to there, but it's also close to X and close to our friends. And
we can afford it.
And we can afford it, but it was never really like a decision of, do we actually want to live there? Whereas now we're thinking, okay, well, when we come back from travelling, if we do want to buy a house, if we can afford it, if that's what we want to do, if not, that's fine. But if we do, where do we want to be? Do we want to be in Portugal? If we want to be in Portugal, do we want to be in Lisbon in the centre, or do we want to be an hour outside, or want to be right up in the hills, or do we want to be in Spain or Croatia or France or England? We're actually thinking and planning our lives on what we want, not based on a job, not based on friends, not based on family, not based on anything else apart from what we actually want as a couple. And I think that's huge as well, because a lot of the time, like, you're based where your job is or where your family is or where your friends, and like, obviously I miss my family and I would love to live close to them, but they live in England, in the north of England, so it's cold and rainy a lot of the time, and I'm scared of English people. Like, I've realised that I have so much trauma from high school. I'm scared of being in England. I could never live there. I would never be able to go out shopping on my own. I'm just scared of English people. So there's so many reasons why I wouldn't live in England, but my family's there. Yes, I want to see them, but I wouldn't necessarily live in England to see them. Like, I'd rather live somewhere with a direct flight and earn enough money to be able to fly over there as much as I want to. But it's interesting to, like, now we're in the driver's seat, like you said, like, we're not a passenger, we're in the driver's seat. We're thinking, do we want to buy a house? We don't have to. But if we do, which country? And then which city? And then what size house? What, all of these decisions are ours, that we're actually making for ourselves, rather than feeling like we have to buy a house because XYZ and we have to live here because of XYZ. And it's so interesting to, like, when your life flips like this, you can never go back to how we were before, can we?
No.
It's interesting that once it's like, people talk about being woke and like, yo, I'm so woke. I feel like I'm like halfway between normal life and being woke, but it's almost like you can't go backwards. You can't go back to that normal life once you've lived something different.
Well, no, it's like once you see the possibilities, why would you decide to go back to something
Where you're trapped?
When you see the world is actually something full of unlimited opportunities, why would you go back to something very limited in a tiny box? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I mean, I've got nothing to add, honestly, about what you said. It's exactly everything that you said is true. Is now every decision that we take are actually coming from within us. Is an aware choice, an aware decision that we're taking. It's not based on, it's not a consequence of plenty of things happening in our life to us. It's not because I've got a job and I can only afford that and I need to be close to this person. Okay, I have to live here, in this area.
Yeah.
No, it's I want to live somewhere. Can I make it? No. Well, okay, maybe let's find a way to make more money and we can make it in 2 years. Like, it's just a matter of when, it's not a matter of, like, can I do it? It's, no, I can do it. How?
Yeah.
How can we make it happen? It's not going to be easy. We're going to have to work hard. We might not make it when we want. It might be, a bit later in future. But we can make it happen. It's up to us, ultimately, to have the life that we want. And when you realize that, it's life-changing.
It's interesting we say that as well with my YouTube, because, like, I said I've wanted to do it for years, and, like, I'm still not monetized. I still have 965 or something subscribers. You need 1,000. Yeah, it'll happen soon. But I mean, I remember when I started, I was like, oh, I'm going to be monetized by the end of the year. The end of the year came and I wasn't at all. And I was like, okay, end of next year. And it's now like I've got 6 weeks to get 40 subscribers. It might happen, it might not happen, but it's like playing the long game of, like, it will, like, if I'm consistent, if I do what I enjoy, if I work hard, it will happen eventually. And I kind of know deep within me that YouTube will take off. And I it's mad to say it out loud. This is like, I need to channel my inner Miami friends, is that, like, I will be making, I can't say it, like 10,000 a month. Like, I want to do it, and I think it will happen just from YouTube, from doing my videos and, like, content and traveling and things. And it's so scary to say that, but, like, it's something that if you work hard, it'll take time, but you'll get there. And I'd rather do that than have 10 grand a month right now, but doing a job in Subway that I still have nightmares about. Like, I would rather do it my way, on my terms, doing something I love, as I want, when I want, what I want, entirely. And it take a little bit longer, but at least it's something that I want to do and I'm enjoying it, rather than...
Yeah, I think you have fun along the way.
Yeah.
It's not about also just the destination. The destination can be amazing, but if the journey to go there can be fun as well,
yeah,
might as well do that. So that was Miami, and as you can understand, as you can see, that was really life-changing. And then that's when I started to question about... That was really a tricky one. I was in a city that I absolutely loved, that we both loved. It wasn't just me. I had a job that I've really, really enjoyed, with people that I love. I was making, honestly, that really good money. I had a lifestyle that was honestly unbeatable. But after 6-7 years doing the same kind of work, you get tired, and also because I was seeing other opportunities, I wanted to chase them. I wanted to go for them, and there is so much you can do when you have a full-time job and everything. And anyway, I just felt that was kind of the end of the road with this work. It gave me way more than anything I expected, anyway. And that's when I started thinking about, okay, maybe we could try something else. And I mean, it was a hard decision to take, leaving a city that you love when you're making really good money and you're having a lifestyle that's amazing, like leaving everything behind to go traveling, and especially when COVID happened in the middle, and we didn't change our mind. We still went for it, even if the world shut down. But I'm so glad we did. Now we are in Peru. We are at the beginning of our next adventure. But I'm happy that we decided to take this risk. And again, it was a measured risk. We didn't leave everything behind and say, fuck off, we're going traveling and we'll see what happens. We took the decision pretty much 1 year in advance. And for 1 year, we saved as much money as possible so we would be okay to take a break for 18 months without worrying. We have the savings, so we can do it even if we don't make any money and stuff like that.
And it also wasn't a visa thing. I think a lot of people, when we tell them that we left Miami, they're like, oh, did you run out of your visa, could you not get a green card? And it was like, no, we chose, yes, we absolutely loved Miami, but we still chose to leave. And it's not about, when we left France, we were in a very bad place. So I think people understand, okay, we left because, had bad memories and blah, blah, blah. We had the best time in Miami. We were so sad to leave, but we just wanted something different. And, it was interesting because you thought about leaving your job even before we went to Miami. You were like, okay, I think I'm done. And I was like, let's just go to Miami for a year. You can work a job you're not loving. I mean, you enjoyed it, but you were just kind of tired of it. It was like, okay, well, you can, do it for a year for Miami. And then we bloody loved it, so stayed 3.5. And it just got to the point where, I could see you didn't want to do it anymore, and you just weren't in it. So it's like, okay, well, if you leave your job, we leave Miami, and we both knew that, but it was still a choice that we made. And again, it all goes back to making your own decisions for yourself that are best for you, and not not having the visa decide when we're leaving, but having us decide when we're leaving.
Yeah, and also in Miami we did a lot of work and stuff like that, and that was a choice. That was clear. I mean, talk about stepping out of your comfort zone and, getting out of the box and everything. It's again, we had an amazing situation over there, but we both decided to step out, to take this risk, to challenge ourselves, to get out and experience something that we are not very comfortable with, but we know that it's going to be worth it. We know it's going to be hard. We know when we left Miami, we knew the next 18 months were going to be hard. We know that this trip we are starting now is going to be hard some days and everything, but I'm okay with it. I'm 100% okay with the fact that it's not going to be easy, but I know it's worth it because this is how you grow. This is how you get to the next step in your life, is by challenging yourself. If you stay within your comfort and you never try anything new, you don't challenge yourself, you don't push yourself to the limit to see what you can do, you're not going to grow. You're just going to stay the same than you are. And I don't want to stay the same. I want to keep changing. I want to keep evolving because I see that I'm improving with age, okay? I'm
1,000,000%. If you guys met Jeremy 10 years ago, he's not the same person.
No, and this is because we took risks at some point. We decided to do things differently, and I see that there's value in that. There's an extreme amount of value. And now that I know the world is full of possibilities, after meeting people, after talking to amazing people on this podcast and stuff like that, I know that I can be one of these person that I see right now having this amazing life. I can be one of them. They are not better than we are. They're just earlier in the process. That's it. So it's just about working hard to get there and just doing everything that we can and not letting other people and life and stuff like that stopping us from doing whatever we want. When we left Miami, we thought about spending summer in France and England and go traveling in September. We ended up staying 2 extra months because basically I had to deal with a massive family issue in France. And that was another wake-up call for me, just in case I was getting comfortable or whatever, just in case I needed another reminder. Basically, something happened in my family, and I saw someone spending his entire life working extremely hard, not doing something he was enjoying, but working extremely hard to, help his family, being excited about retiring, and just after retiring, discovering that actually everything that he thought he had in life was kind of taken away from him. Money, trust, and stuff like that. And I felt like, damn, like, you've worked your entire life for 40 years doing something that you didn't enjoy doing just because you had this retirement, as your vision. Like, when I'll be 60, I'll be able to chill and enjoy my life and stuff like that. That was the broad vision thing, I call
Vision
it.
board, yeah.
The vision board. And when you get there, you realize that actually, everything you dreamed about, you're not going to be able to have it. It's like, I realized once again that life is unpredictable, unexpected. Things happen that I didn't see it coming neither, and no one did. And that was another wake-up call. I was like, damn, like, you can plan whatever you want once again. Work extremely hard with the intention of doing something later in the future, and just when you get there, bam, get hit by a fucking truck in the face, and it's like, nope, screw you. Like, I'm taking everything, and again, like, you're not gonna be living life on your term.
Well, the thing is as well, a lot of people save for retirement or, wait to do that big trip until retirement and then die at 40. I mean, yes, the shit that, like, your family's gone through, I don't really know I don't want to speak too much because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but, like, there's other things that happen as well, but also you might not even live that long.
Yeah, or you might not be healthy.
Yeah, like, there's just so many, like, you might die, you might lose your legs, so you can't walk and hike and do all these things. You might lose the relationship that you're in. You might lose your partner, so you can't travel with them. You might, like, lose all of your money, all your possessions, all of your friends. Like, there's just so much that could happen. And a lot of people just spend their life waiting to, that 2 weeks a year where you can travel and you can have time off. Or that 2 weeks a year, or like that retirement, where you can go and do something fun. Well, life's for living right now, rather than when you're 60, when you're too old and you can't be fucked anyway because you got a sore hip and, or, whatever, like, you got grandkids to buy presents for and whatever it is, like, all these different things. Like, no, live your life now when you're young and active and have energy and money and you, like, no responsibilities. And I don't know, it's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. And seeing that, like, convinced me that we were doing the right thing. Yeah, you know what? Worst case scenario, in December 2022, we traveled, we tried to generate money ourselves, and we failed. We didn't generate enough money. So, yeah, I'll have to get a job somewhere. Maybe you would have to get a job somewhere.
Never going to happen.
Thanks to COVID, remote job is, way easier way more accepted than it was 2 years ago. So we probably be able to get a remote job somewhere and make some money, and we will still be able to work on the side on our project. So hopefully one day they work out. But what? Yeah, that's the worst case scenario. Like, we would have spent part of our saving because we're not stupid. We have money dedicated to this journey. We're not emptying all the bank account. So we still have some money left. We still have our brains and a lot of experience to get a job if we have to. And in the meantime, we would have seen, I don't know how many countries and experienced things that a ton of people would wish they could experience, but they never did because they never dared to do it. And it's like, I'm glad we're doing it. Like, I'm so glad we're doing this now. I'm not going to wait 60 to enjoy my life. I might die tomorrow. I might die in 1 year. I might die in 2 years. I might as well enjoy it right now when I can, when I want to, yeah, then just wait later. Stop pushing things in the future. We saw it with COVID. So many people wanted to come see us in Miami and never did because of damn COVID. Like, life is unexpected. Live it now, honestly.
I love how you're talking about like worst case scenario, but I'm also like, that's not even an option for me. Like,
No, but
there is not an option of you going back to a 9 to 5 office job. Like, I can't deal with you not at home all the time with me. And also, I'm never going to work for anyone again in my life. Like, I'm going to work for myself.
yeah,
No matter what it is, I'm going to either do my YouTube or my blogging, or I'll create a brand. Or like, I've got so many ideas. One of them is going to work at some point.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's like, even if it doesn't work in time, there's still ways to make money. You know, like, you could get employed by an agency to edit photograph
Yeah.
and get paid for it. You know, like there are different ways to get money than working in McDonald's, in Subway, or getting back to an office.
Yeah.
Again, it's that there are so many ways to make money. If we can't make enough ourselves, we can get something else that we also enjoy. It doesn't have to go back to Subway.
Yeah.
We can find something in our realm that's going to help pay the bills and everything if we have to. So, yeah. Something else also I've realized this summer when I was telling people, you know, about our plans. And again, it's not everyone. You always have some old, angry people that are going to say, why the fuck you're doing that? Not understanding. It's fine. Again, it's just, I'm okay. I don't need everyone to understand me. I don't really care about that anymore, to be honest. But it's interesting also how many people that are 60 plus are like, you're right, you know, like, enjoy it while you can. Like, I wish I would have done that. Yeah, do it.
It's funny when people say do it before you have kids as well.
Yeah.
It's always like, fuck you don't know what I've been through.
But I know it's interesting. Like, you can feel the little pinch in the heart. You can see in their eyes. A lot of people are like, I wish I could do it. I wish I could have done it. That's some older people, and you can also see like younger people like us saying like, oh, I wish I could do it. It's like, you can, you know, it's just a choice. You're not doing it because you don't want to. But like, everything that we are doing is a choice. That we worked hard to save enough money to be able to do this journey.
But I also think we were very fortunate. Like, of the way that things panned out, we were very, very fortunate, because had you not got that job at eWorks, and then had they not offered you to go to Miami and for us to earn this money, and then for me to do dog photography, and like, it's let me finish. I know it's like, had that not have happened, had you not got the job at eWorks to begin with, we'd probably still be in France, working a normal job, doing the normal things, not really earning enough money to do anything, because wage in France and England is kind of, you have enough to pay rent and food, and that's kind of it. You can't really save a whole lot of money. So had that all not happened, we probably wouldn't be where we're at today. I just think we're very, very fortunate that you got that job, that we went to Miami, that you negotiated a good salary, that I had the perseverance to make money with photography. And that's another thing. Like, I could have gone and got a job in a hotel or a shop or whatever, or just sat and done nothing, because honestly your wage paid for everything. But it's a mix of like having, you know, being very, very lucky in the situations that we either put ourselves in, or the universe, whatever, put us in. I don't know. Like, we were very lucky with what happened, but then also we worked very hard to save money. And I was saying to my friend Karen actually that, like, when we were in Miami, we didn't go to nightclubs that cost $200 to get in. We didn't go on a big road trip around the States. We didn't go to all, like, yes, we went on a couple of holidays, but we didn't like live this crazy lavish lifestyle. We weren't renting out yachts and going on jet skis and going to the clubs and buying super expensive designer things. Like, we could afford to do all that, but instead we saved all our money. And I think it's a couple of things. It's kind of, like I said, the opportunities that were presented to us and the fact that we took them, but also the fact that we worked hard and saved hard. And we're very fortunate. And I think you need to realise that as well. You know, not everyone can save the amount of money that we did to be able to go travelling, because they work a job and, you know, they can't afford to do all these things.
No.
So for a lot of people, it's not possible what we're doing, and I understand that as well.
Yeah, but I also think there's a lot of limitations, you know, like, yeah, there's a lot of luck, but I also knew that when I was 22 years old, when I decided to take this internship in Australia to learn English, that was an investment. Like, I knew that learning English at 22 would help me later in the future. So it's a lot of plenty of decision that is pushing your luck in a sense also,
Yeah, it's helping, yeah.
So, yeah, like there's obviously luck in life, but I think you can challenge your luck. You can make things happen in your life.
Make your own luck.
But by taking the right decisions and learning things or setting yourself up for success. And maybe not. I know that I'm privileged. I'm a white man, so I'm very privileged.
Straight white man.
Yeah, so
Cis straight white man.
I know I'm like
You're all of them.
on the top of the privilege pyramid thing. I'm fully aware of that. But I'm also doing my best to, I don't know, like not stay on the top, but like I'm doing my best to really take full advantage of those privileges I have. Like,
well, and also we work hard. Like,
yeah,
nothing was handed to us. We don't have rich parents who just give us loads of money to go travelling.
So
worked hard and.
So yeah, and again, like this is the life that we want to create. So we need money for it to travel and everything. But my point is not even just about money. My point is just live a life that you want to live. Live where you want to live because you want to, not because you have to. Like you can make your own decisions by just questioning more things in life. It's just so many people, again, like life is happening to us and you might not be able to achieve everything that you want, but by questioning your life decisions and really having a vision, I think you can improve your life. It might not be the dream one, but you can highly improve it because the world is a massive place. There are a lot of possibilities and you have to look further than just your neighborhood, your city, your country, and your circle of friends. There's so many ways right now in 2021 to make money in the world outside of the classical ways that if you're willing to invest a few hours of your evenings and weekends and stuff like that, you will be able to drastically, I think, improve your life. And then meditate, read books, do things that, just question your life. Like question all the decisions that you made. Like, did I buy these things because I wanted to or because that was, what society wanted me to do? Like, am I having kids because I want to? Am I marrying this person because I really want to, or just because everyone is asking me when I'm gonna get married? So this one is the worst one, not the best one I found. So I'm just gonna marry him, even if it's just okay. Actually, like question things. Do it because you want it, not because you feel you have to. And life is way better this way, I feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is why we're going traveling. This is why we're in Peru right now. We have no idea, honestly, what we're going to be doing in 1 year time at this moment. Now we have a plan for a few months.
It's so funny when people ask, like, okay, so...
Where do you live? What do you do for life?
Yeah.
I don't live anywhere and I don't do anything.
Yeah, the border control of Peru. So what's your job?
None. I don't have any. Too complicated.
Entrepreneur who's making 0 per month? Does that count as a job? I don't know. Like, okay, where's your home address? Yeah, again about that. We're gonna have to put my parents' place. Like it's. Like,
I live in my backpack.
The world isn't made for people like us as well.
No.
Like we don't have an address. Like so, my English driving license.
You're even worse than I am.
My English driving license ran out in 2015, the year we got married. So I was like, we'll get married and then I'll change my name on my driving license and get a new one. That never happened. So my driving license is still out of date. And you have to get an English one, you have to live in England and have like 6 months or something, like live in England for 6 months before you can get it or something. And if you lie in the application form, you can go to jail for lying to the government or whatever. So I'm not going to obviously risk it. So I still don't have a driving license because I've never lived in England for 6 months at a time. But then equally, like, I didn't do it in America because then I'd have to drive an American car, which is automatic. And it's just like, there's all these little things that, like, if you don't conform to like having a house in a country and taxes and
Yeah, like we married and we can't live in the same country.
yeah,
Like,
let's explain that.
We need to do like 1 year of paperwork and have interviews to see if we are still legit
So
to be able to
basically,
stay together. I think the world is not ready for.
we got married in 2015. We left 2017 to Miami, and then whilst we were over there, Brexit happened, which means that if you weren't living in France at the time, but now you want to move there, you can't because of Brexit. So we're married. I own half an apartment in France. I pay taxes in France, but I can't live in France because I wasn't living in France when Brexit happened. So I can stay in France for 3 months every 6 months. And Jeremy can live in England for 6 months at a time. So for 3 months of the year, we can't be together, basically.
Well, we need to be in another country. Yeah. But we have to
But
go
it's
through so
bananas.
much paperwork to prove that we are actually a real couple, and that we, it's just the world is still 100 years old. I feel like administration is 100 years old and it's not changing.
Yeah.
It's not adjusting to digital life, to nomadic life, to people getting married with people from other countries or who wants to live. Like, we need an address? Like, I don't want to live anywhere. What about that?
Yeah.
Why do I need a damn address? Like, send me a damn email. That's it. My email is my mailbox.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need a physical mailbox. I don't need a damn post. Like, there's so much things are not ready yet in this world. And yeah, when you travel, you realize that it's insane. Like, why do you have to stay a maximum of 90 days in a country? Like, on a 91st day, you're gonna become a monster. Like, what the hell is gonna happen? Like, it's just like so many things like that are done again before because we don't want foreigners to steal our jobs and stuff like that. It's like, you can live in a country now and work. You can live in South America working for an American companies with clients in Europe and Asia. Like, it doesn't mean anything where you work physically. It's totally irrelevant in the world we live in. But nothing is ready. Like, nothing is ready for that. So yeah, it's a lot of paperwork to live this life. Honestly, it's a pain in the ass, but I think it's worth it. It's worth every stressful moment because I know that the growth we're gonna experience is gonna be 1,000 times better than anything. So it's just I'm just investing in myself. Like, that's something we've heard a lot in Miami is invest in yourself. And yeah, all this money that we saved, we are investing it in ourselves right now through traveling because you can learn a lot while traveling.
Let's go back to what you said about we don't know what we're going to be doing in the year's time.
Yeah, but it's
like
true.
Our future.
Like right now, we have money to live until December 2022.
If we sell the apartment, we'll have more money.
Yeah, but even without things, it's just like we have 1 year to create whatever we want to generate enough income. If by the end of 2022 we are making enough money ourselves, then we will be able to maybe rent a place and stuff like that. But again, like the world, like banks are not ready for that. Right? I know in France, if you want to borrow money to buy a place, you need to justify that you're a good customer, that you're gonna pay them back basically. So being self-employed is not good for them. They want you to work and get a consistent paycheck and everything. So we are not helping ourselves and stuff like that. But yeah, the idea is just to build whatever we want to build to generate enough money so we don't have to get a job again, so we can be location independent and be where we want when we want, and our money won't be relying on our location. It's just as soon as we can have a laptop and a camera and stuff like that. That's our dream really, is to be location independent. So if we want to live for 6 months in France and in England and in Portugal and in Spain and in South America, in Asia, in 3 months in Miami, whatever, we can.
Yeah.
So it's just up to us to work hard enough to make that happen. But if we can do it, then like for me this is bango, like I won. For me they will be winning. It's like I'm making enough so I can, and I'm not talking about an extravagant amount of money. I want to have enough to rent a place wherever I want, have food, go out for a meal, once every 2 weeks, something like that, and get a new phone and laptop or some shit when I want to. I'm not talking about making hundreds of thousands. Just want to make enough thousands that I can just
live comfortably, I guess.
Comfortable life wherever I am. That would be amazing.
The other conversation we've been having is dogs.
Oh. Do we need to speak about that on the podcast?
I think so. So we want dogs, but we obviously want to travel as well. So it's like, okay, well, do we get a dog? But then when we go traveling, we put them in a home for 3 months, or I don't know. So we have no idea, basically.
No.
We've got things paid for a year. We need to figure out how we can make some money, because it's not if, it's how we can make enough money so that we can continue this lifestyle.
Yeah, we know we can, it's just how.
Yeah, it's not like an if we can, it's like, no, we're going to do it.
And are we going to be able to make enough by the end of...
No, we are going to make enough.
Yeah.
It's not an if, again, no ifs, no buts. We're doing it. We're going to make enough money so that we can carry on doing what we want. And, yeah, living our life the way that we want to. And making, the funny thing as well, when you're in a relationship, there's two people that have to make the same decision. You have to come to things together. It's not just well, I want to do this, so we're doing it. Obviously, it also means that you get different ideas and support and everything else, but...
Yeah, it's all about compromising, but so far we've been doing all right.
Yeah.
Well, that was a bit of a
ramble.
Yeah, rambling, but we hope that you got some value from this episode. The whole idea was just to show you that there is another way. That's it, really. And life is unpredictable. Live it now. Don't wait 10 years. Enjoy things when you can, while you can, because you don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. You don't know what the world is going to be like tomorrow. And yeah, life is way less stressful overall when you live every day as you want, the way you want, and you're happy. That's kind of it.
You should be a motivational speaker. Bloody love it. Really hope you enjoyed listening to this episode, guys. If you did, send us a message on Instagram. Let us know something that you learned, any kind of takeaways from today, anything that you want to talk about. We love chatting to you guys on Instagram.
At Just Interesting People.
Yeah. And we'll be back next Wednesday with a brand new episode. We have lots of awesome conversations lined up, so make sure you stay tuned for those and have a fabulous day.
Bye.
So we really hope you enjoyed today's video. A little bit rambly, a little bit kind of all over the place, talking about our life and what we're doing and why we're doing it and how we came to this conclusion, I guess. Let me know in the comments section down below if you enjoyed watching this video. I know we didn't really look into camera, we were too busy kind of...
I tried.
Chatting to... Oh, I didn't at all. I completely ignored you guys, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, let us know in the comment section down below anything that you found interesting, anything you maybe learnt from this. Maybe
if you disagree also.
If you disagree,
happy to hear it.
If you're living the same life as us, let us know in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. Make sure you subscribe for more videos and we will see you very soon. Make sure you subscribe. I've got lots of vlogs coming from Peru and then we're going to be travelling maybe Bolivia, Argentina, Chile. We don't really know yet. So make sure you subscribe and follow us along and we'll see you very soon. Yeah.
Bye.